is it?
Fred Dixon. What happens?
What's it about? Cars?
Yeah, Freddie Dixon. What happened?
I don't know who that is.
It's a man. They put in Fred Dixon.
Yeah.
It's in a printer I know, and there's every Freddie Dixon of any note has come up. But there's even a black Freddie Dixon. Now Freddie Dixon is there. It's all his life.
Oh, is he a car racer?
There's a Freddie Dixon.
That's a different one.
There's a black guy. There he is there.
Yeah.
There he is there. But there's pages of people, what it is, who are connected with a Freddie Dixon. But it wouldn't be the man. It could be another Freddie Dixon. And there's pages of it. It's fascinating. These are his cars. Let's get the famous one. That's a modern Freddie Dixon on a motorcycle somewhere in the world. It's incredible. That's Fred. That's Fred. That's him. It's Brooklyn's. That's another. That's not him. That's him with Brooklyn's. It's absolutely incredible. All these are Fred Dixons.
Well, yeah, it's a pretty common name.
Freddie. That's one of his cars rebuilt. Anyone connected is women drivers. She might have been his daughter, not his daughter. I don't know. God knows. There's pages of it. Mr. Black, that's one of his cars, his famous cars. He was an incredible guy, man.
Oh, did you know it?
Oh, he died in the early 50s. He's my hero. He was everyone's hero in Britain.
What did he do?
Well, he was a race driver, like Scott Brown, who was later.
Yeah.
There's a black Freddie. If he was alive and saw this, he's a rock musician in New York.
Yeah, it's a common name.
I know, but
you're so surprised.
What you can do, you on your computer, you can go on man, and he's with a rock band in New York, Freddie Dixon.
It's a different. Yeah, okay.
All these you can home in on.
No, you're amazed by the internet.
Well, I am amazed. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic medium. I'm gonna find his famous one. All these are cars connected with him, which he worked on or modified, right?
Yeah.
So as modified, but he was a brilliant engineer. There's a Bugatti there, so he worked on that.
Oh, you like your Bugatti, don't you?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at your hat. It doesn't normally have a flower in it.
Do you know where that came from?
No. You stole it?
Well, I just picked it. It's fallen down. I find the whole thing unbelievable. So every one of these photographs, you can, on the internet, you can click on and find out who that is.
Yeah, that's how the internet works.
Yeah, I know. Oh, here's another rocker, look. There's something else in the world.
Yeah, very good.
That's one of his last studies where he's trying to figure out some engineering problem. There he is there. Look, that's in later life there.
Yeah. Did you meet him?
Good God, no, he died in the early 50s.
Yeah, you were around in the early 50s.
No, good God, I was a child.
You were still around?
No, I didn't meet him.
Hanging out with your dad, racing?
I wish they did. Oh, that's his famous crash. His first, when he went into cars, he was a motorcyclist, a famous motorcyclist, a winner. But that was his famous smash in his first race, which he was leading one lap ahead, and he overcooked it. He overcooked it and crashed.
Oopsie.
There he is there. That's very famous, that. He's airborne, and he's turning off the ignition. You're not filming this, are you?
Yeah, it's interesting.
he had a smile on his face, and Ainsley's next door, he's his co-driver. They had a mechanic, driver mechanic.
Yeah.
And he's got a big smile on his face. He said, "That's it, I've had it." And he's turning the ignition off, and he lands in a rhubarb field. And he was one lap ahead in his first race after a highly modified Riley, faster. The works could not believe that it was so materially faster than the works cars. He had to sleep for 24 hours. He still was deciding they'd have the head off. That was at Ards in Ireland.
Okay.
And then he did the Isle of Man, but Ards was a famous race in Ireland. I mean, these were incredible races. There were people killed in every race. They were international.
Yeah.
And he won with a 1087cc Riley 9 against Alfa Romeos and God knows. Because he was such a brilliant conception of a rider. He didn't know the meaning of the word brake, because he learnt it all in motorcycles. So he turned his Riley with small wheels into virtually a four-wheeled motorcycle. And his tuning, although he used a works engine in this, he didn't do a lot. But when he started to develop the engine, because what happened, he went to the Riley company, Percy and Victor, and they realised he has his credential as a motorcycle, and they gave him an older Brooklands, a racer. He didn't even have the latest one. It's a phenomenal story. And of course, the cover with the fact that he was a drinker.
Ah. Always good fun.
There he is at Brooklands, winning the 2 litre class against. He won the 500-mile Brooklands race. That's by Heathrow, Brooklands' famous bank circuit. He was still deciding which engine to put in the night. Which engine to put in with his. He had a driver mechanic who's the only one he trusted because he had all these secrets. His engines were built with 6 carburetors, and people didn't know what was under there because he used to lock the bonnets. And lo and behold, if anyone, he came anywhere near the car because he was very, very fast with his fists, massive hands.
Oh, yeah?
And he won the 500 outright on his own. That's one of the only greatest feats in motor racing history. 500 miles, freezing to death, after consuming a half bottle of whiskey to keep the heat. It was a bank circuit, and he was touching 135 miles an hour down the Vickers sheds, which were the aircraft company at Brooklands, and the Alfa Romeos were in the lead, but Mussolini, couldn't understand why a private individual could beat the works Alfa Romeos, which were the state-of-the-art supercharged. That wasn't supercharged. He didn't believe in supercharging.
Okay.
He was just one of these. The only other driver at the time of his sort of spirit was Nuvarali, which was the Italian, who he used to race against with the motorcycles. Nuvarali possibly was the greatest driver that has ever been, because he drove the huge auto unions and Mercedes that Hitler developed before the war. And Hitler didn't want an Italian in the team, but he was such a good driver that, they didn't speak to him, the other drivers, all these they were aristocrats, all brilliant drivers. And he won a famous race, and they at Nürburgring, and they didn't even have the Italian anthem, but he had one in the car. That was the joke. And they say Hitler ignored him, but he didn't. He shook his hand. He said, "You've got to join the auto union team." But all the others, it took a while for them to, because he was Italian, he didn't speak German. He was only a little guy, 5'2". It took a while for them to say, well, he is the world's greatest.
What was his
name? It was an incredible period. There were people killed in every race.
What was his name?
Nuvarali.
And he was Italian?
Tazio Nuvarali.
Okay.
And he died. They put a steering wheel on his chest, but he died in his bed. He wasn't killed in that way. They put a steering wheel on his chest, and his race outfit, he had to wear a yellow shirt and his helmet and put him in the coffin. So they say, I don't know.
Okay.
But he was everyone's hero. Well, he was equal to Fred Dixon. Then you had a stack of others, Lord Howe and all these other people. They were all brilliant drivers, but they had a lot of money. Lord Howe was president of the racing federation, but a lot of people couldn't take to Dixon because he was alone, and every other word was, put clogs on, Dad, Well, you could put fucking thing in there. He apparently talked like that, and every other word was fucking. He's alone, but brilliant engineer as well as race driver. And that was it. Pages of it.
Okay. Thank you for the lesson.
They downloaded that in it's a printer in Crusoe. I can't think of the name. Anyway, right, I'm going to go get school. Where I put my tea out there.